Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel, Smishek's Custom Baits. Rick Smishek here. Today I'm going to make a video based on a request by JM. He wanted to know about the various types of equipment and stuff that I use. So let's start off with, let me grab these. Forgot to set these over here. I always forget something, right? These are the stirrers that I bought for the plastisol. This one, I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my right shoulder hurt. By the time I'm done mixing the bucket, I can feel it. I've had surgery on my shoulder, had a slap tear. So the old injury there, it bothers it. But this one here, and I bought them both at Lowe's, and I think they were the same price. But this one here, I like it a lot better. One, it doesn't beat up my shoulder, and two, I can set it down the bottom of the bucket like this, and I just move it like this around the bottom, lift it up some to get that plasticizer, some of it at least, up off the bottom, and get started moving it around. But that's these. I just attach them to an electric drill. I have a DeWalt 3-inch drill down there that I just run that and mix the plastic. Next is our microwave. Dun dun dun, right? It's a Hamilton Beach. Oops, sorry about that. Right there. I just picked up the stand and moving the camera. I have not done this part before. I need some practice with that, don't I? Okay, it's just a Hamilton Beach, 900 watt. It works fine. Nothing special. That's the vacuum chamber that I got off of Amazon. I forget what company that was, but I use that when I haven't forgotten to use a large enough measuring cup to where I won't overflow it. Safety here, right? These gloves here, they have the speed grip. Okay, little red dot things, or hexagons. They can withstand up to 923 or 932, I forget which, degrees of temperature. Plenty for what we do, okay? Although I have to say that if you hold, like say, if you were to hold a cup of plastisol with a glove on, like this, after a while you would start to feel the heat coming through. It takes a little bit, but and you won't feel it right away, but you hold it for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever, and you're going to start to feel some of the heat coming through. It's not enough to burn you, but you can feel it. Measuring cups. I have 1 ounce, 1 cup, 2 cup, and 4 cup. The anchor cups, which is this, they give you a little bit more room for adding salt. The 1 cup line is right here, right at the top of my finger, so there's not much room between that and the top of the measuring cup. Okay. Over here on the Pyrex, the top is, well, that's milliliters, right here. The top is right here, and then you have all this extra room there for adding salt. The other difference is in the spout. I found that for me, for the molds that I pour with, and they're just composite molds, and they're not, and the baits aren't very big. I find that this keeps the stream narrow enough to where it's easier to fill the cavities without overfilling them. But that might change with a bigger, with a mold that has a much larger cavity. Like Angling AI sells some swim baits. They lay like this, the molds lay like this, and you pour it, the top of it's open. This style of cup might be just fine there. Next is these are temperature probes here. They say that they're advertised as instant. They are not instant. They're close, but they're not instant. I use these when I'm troubleshooting why I'm not getting laminates to work properly, whether they're not laminating well. This ensures that I have the temperatures right. But most of the time I just use this laser gun to shoot it, and I shoot while I'm stirring it, and I watch the numbers. Then we change it, but you can get, it doesn't take long, you get a pretty good idea for what that average temperature is in the cup. Butter knives, Walmart, I think. Walmart or Target, one or the other. Tape, cellophane tape. This is the trick you can use to, if you have the older, if you ever get any of the older labels from Lureworks, the lettering wears off really easy. So what I do is I just cover it with tape. Okay. Now they come with an extra label on it, which incidentally has tape over it already. So if you're getting the new labels, you won't need to do that. But if you have the old ones, and another thing is that I do is that every bottle that comes in, every color that comes in, I put a Yorker cap on it. Okay, that makes it tons easier to count the drops. It's just easier. Oh, oops, that wasn't my idea. Here it is. I started off using steel ball bearings. That was a bad idea in the Yorker cap. Now I use 5/16 stainless steel nuts. I drop one in each bottle, and then when I shake it, I have something there, like a spray can, like spray paint. You know, you got that shaker in there. Same here. Let's talk about clamps. I started off with these Irwin quick grips, right? There's nothing wrong with these, unless you're like me. And then it's not the clamps problem, it's me. When I clamp these, you notice, you see that moving, okay? If they had put two pins in there, or 2 screws, whatever, this wouldn't move like that, all right? And then I would have the issue of too much pressure and spreading the jaws, flashing the mold, okay? So personally, I wouldn't buy these again. However, if you're not like me and you can keep from acting like a gorilla, these are so easy to close. Just like this, tightens them up, pull that little trigger there like that, and they just slide right apart. Super easy to use. So I don't really have anything against them so much as I can't seem to control the pressure I put on the molds. This one here is another Irwin clamp, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. These are like $15 a piece, right? These were they were on sale at Lowe's for 6 of them, $19.99. $15, I think it was, $15 for one. Yeah, I took these. Even though these are Jorgensen, all right, and this is Irwin again. Even though these don't slide quite as well, you have to get this lever just right to get it sliding up and down. So what I do to compensate for that is I always keep this screwed out there more than I need. So in case I get stuck up there like that and can't get it to come back, I can just unscrew this and it gives me a little room to play. Okay, but these, I would buy these again. Even with that one little minor annoyance there, nothing's perfect, right? If these weren't as expensive as they are, I would probably use these. These still have a little bit of give to them, unlike those. Those have almost none. But at least with these, I don't flash the molds. Measuring spoons. Use anything you like. It doesn't really matter. Well, actually, I would say it might. I wouldn't use plastic ones. Okay. The reason for that is static. And with static, the glitter would be sticking to it. It'd be hard to keep it off of there. But other than that, anything that's metal. I tried these. I was trying these little bitty guys, Dash, whatever. You can't hardly clean them out. They're so small. My wife wanted them back, but I told her no since they've been out in the garage. Told her she wanted ones like that for in the house. We have to order new ones. Okay, so those are done. Put it in the back, put stuff back as I talk about it. This is the second time I've shot this video tonight. The first time I forgot to turn on those lights, shot the entire video, and didn't realize it until I was watching to make sure I did everything okay. doing my edits and stuff, and I was like, oh crap, why is it so dark? Oh yeah, duh. And I even this is the first time, that's the first time I forgot, so I started hanging the microphone on the switch. How did I forget that this time? I have no idea. Let's go and put these away. We've already talked about those. Okay. Real quick, this bottle brush. I got a 3-pack of these for $1 over at the Dollar Tree. They're perfect for cleaning out your injectors. Speaking of injectors, let's go ahead and talk about those. All right. I have a 3-ounce injector and a 6-ounce twin. 6 ounce means 6 in each tube. If I had it to do over again, I would not have bought this one. I would have just bought this one because you can take it apart and you still have 2 injectors. And then I would have probably bought a second one, and then I could have taken them apart and had 4. There's been a couple times when I've had big enough orders where I had molds lined up down the bench, and I wished I had at least another 6 ounce instead of the 3 ounce. Well, this holds every bit as much as this does, you know, the 1 tube. So this probably wasn't necessary. But they both came from Bass Tackle, that said, and I would buy, if I wasn't going to be shooting laminates, or if I wasn't going to be shooting a lot of baits, I was just making for myself and maybe a few buddies, I might get a 3-ounce twin instead of the 6-ounce twin. That would have been an option, but I definitely would have got a twin injector instead of a single. Next thing, let's talk about let's talk about these things here real quick. Some supplies real quick. The salt that I use comes in 50-pound bags. I ordered off of Walmart.com. If anybody can find Morton Fine Flake salt, or I forget who the other big manufacturer here is in the U.S., the big brand. If you find Fine Flake salt at like a wholesaler that I can go to in Denver and pick it up, please leave the web address or contact information, whatever, down below. I would much rather go and pick it up and pay like $5, $10 in gas, even if I had to pay that much, because the bag was $35 and the freight was almost doubled it. But you want to use the Fine Flake salt because it doesn't sink as bad. It doesn't sink as fast, I should say, and it doesn't seem to discolor the baits like the other stuff does. I used any spray adhesive when you're trying to get stuff like the eyes stuck in the swim bait mold, the bloodline swim bait mold. I used that, and it was just what they had on the shelf at Walmart at the time. When I need to lube rods for the core shot molds, or the rods and splines for the tube baits, I just use a Great Value vegetable. It works fine. Colorants and glitters. I got all my glitters from the same company. It just seemed to work out well that way. Lurecraft had a nice selection of stuff that I thought would be usable and sellable. So that's what I bought. I'm not saying other people don't have it either, but you can also get. I have all mine is hex cut. You can also get square cut glitter at different places in different sizes than what I'm using, and you can also get string glitter. But as far as the colorants go, I have colorants from three different manufacturers, from 3 different companies: Lurecraft, Lureworks, and Dead On. Lurecraft, the colorants tend to be a little more opaque, and at Lureworks, doing that. At Lureworks, I'll learn how to talk by the time the video's done, right? Lureworks, they tend to be, most of them tend to be more translucent. And you can click on each color and see just how they rate them too, from opaque to translucent, and then some in betweens. But I think there's 5 different steps. Dead on, I believe, unless they've added more, I believe I have all of their colors, and I've used every single one of them in a color somewhere. Some of them I use over and over. I love their chartreuse. The purple rain I use in the grapevine. Yeah. So that's it. I'll touch the, here's a piece of safety gear. It's a respirator. If you don't have very good ventilation, when I'm doing orders, most of the time I'm wearing this, even whether I have a fan going. The fan is just to keep sucking those fumes out. But as long as I can smell it, if I step inside the house and step back in here and I can smell the glass of salt, I put this on. Okay, you can use any respirator you want, and it's pretty obvious. They make them. I think it's for chemicals. I think, don't quote me on that, but it'll be pretty obvious. You want one that protects against fumes, and when you look at the different filters that you can buy, it's pretty obvious which ones you want. So don't quote me on any of that part yet, okay? I think that's it, except for the molds. Let's start with these guys. Do-it molds. They cater to the hobbyist. Almost exclusively, they cater to the hobbyist. Not many cavities in their molds, most of them. They have sand cast aluminum molds, which are cheaper than these. They don't put out, the baits come out of them really dull unless you put like tape over the whole face of this, and then you cut out the bait itself and pull the tape off the face of it. You do that after you paint the cavity with engine paint. Let it dry, pull the tape off, okay? Well, the problem with that is that eventually, if you use the mold enough, the paint starts to peel. Even though it's engine paint, heat-treated paint, it still comes off eventually. And then you have to redo it. You don't have to say that? No, thank you, okay? But these ones that I have are CNC machined. They keep their costs down here by not putting quite as many vents in as some of the other manufacturers do. That can cause issues with denting. But as long as you know that, and you know where to, and you can figure out where to draw vent lines, which I've done in both of these mud bug molds, then you can alleviate most of that. Next, other than this company here, Do It Molds, okay? I have molds from most of the other manufacturers. I don't have one from Fat Guys Fishing. But all of the other manufacturers are pretty well equal in how well their molds shoot, okay? Bait Chunkies. I would have to say that he makes some absolutely fantastic molds, because the only times I ever get defects is when I screw it up. There's no probably about it. He uses more vent lines than anybody else. His molds are a little bit more, cost just a little bit more because it's more machine time. But I'm okay with that. It's a precaution on his part to ensure that his customers get the best possible products out of their molds that he makes. He wants to make sure that his product is the best possible that it can be as well. But I have his 4, 5, and 6 inch stick baits, one of his Ned rigs, and 6 inch I can't think, trickworm. There we go. Jacob's molds. Oh, and one more thing about Bait Junkies is he no longer sells on his own website. He sells these through the Lure Works website. So you go there, you can find his molds. Um, Jacob's Molds. If you go look up reviews on him, nobody says that he has a good bedside manner. Okay, nobody does. All right. In fact, they pretty much say the opposite. He's a gruff old guy. Okay, but he makes some really nice molds, especially his I think his panfish baits, which is what this one is. Perfect shot every time. The only thing is he doesn't use a standard injection port like, heck, even Do It Molds uses a standard injection port. Okay, I don't know if you can see the oval down there, but okay. But that's really the only gripe I have with that mold, is that it doesn't use a standard injection port. You have to be super careful with the injector when you have it set up there, so you're not slipping. So it's not slipping. Angling AI. Let's talk about them a little bit. I have quite a few of their molds. Actually, I have 4 of them sitting right up on the bench. Their eye mold. He has a patent pending. Josh does on this one. It's kind of funny. 2 of the most difficult molds to shoot and get good baits out of is their 5-inch cork shot stick bait and the 4-inch bloodline swim bait. Josh showed me out of the 3 sizes of this one's the toughest. So it just figures that I ordered the toughest one, right? But I have a lot of fun shooting this bait. So there's making bloodlines, or it's pretty labor intensive, and at some point I'm definitely going to get another mold of this, so I can shoot a whole bag at one time, as long as my blending block doesn't freeze up. But Josh makes some good molds. He really does. The measure of a company isn't whether or not they make mistakes, because everybody makes mistakes, right? The measure of a company, I think, is how they handle those mistakes. And there's been a couple with angling AI, and you know what? A1 customer service. A1. Whenever there's been an issue, there's been A1 customer service on. So, yeah, heck yeah, I will continue to buy molds from them in the future. I don't buy their plastic salt, but but it's because I buy something that I think works just as well for my purposes, and it's $30 a bucket cheaper delivered to my door. So, and that adds up over time. So it's a way to cut costs. And sorry about that, guys. That's just business. I do have most of or probably all of their colorants. But the next company up is Lurcraft. I only have one of their molds, and I got this one because price per cavity, this mold just couldn't be beat. Out of all the Kindtech lookalikes or knockoffs, I guess, this one was the cheapest per cavity. I almost bought one from Bass Tackle because I really like the molds of theirs that I have, but I decided to give this one a chance because the price was so good per cavity. 6 cavities, and it shoots beautiful. I will most likely be buying another one of these so I can shoot a whole bag at a time. And I might, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll buy more of their molds because this one works. I mean, it works great. There's no complaints. I mentioned Bass Tackle just a few minutes ago. I have 2 of these 4-inch punch craws. I only have one of each of the 3-inch leech and the 7-inch ribbon tail. I would love to have one more of each mold, then I could shoot a whole bag. These are fantastic molds. Facebook groups do not give some of these companies, including Bass Tackle and Enforcer, enough credit for putting out good molds. And Lurcraft. They give the Facebook groups, they give Jacob's Molds credit for good molds. They just don't give them credit for good customer service. Pardon me. What are they? Oh, last company I want to talk about. Every mold except for one that I've gotten from this guy has been fantastic. And the one time it wasn't, well, we worked together and we made sure that it wasn't just something I was doing wrong. And as soon as it was obvious that it wasn't something that I was doing wrong, instead it was some anomaly with that mold. That's all it could be. The guy, he told me, his name's Kurt. Kurt told me, he said, I've sold hundreds of those. He said, we haven't ever had a problem. He said, so I don't know what the deal is. But he fixed it. He fixed the issue. As soon as we gone through, you're making sure I'm using, I'm not putting salt in. I'm using a softer plastisol, spread hot, whatever. We went through everything we could have possibly done. I tried everything, did everything he said. He said, you know what? He says, Rick, he says, I'm gonna have to fix that. He says, he says, I don't know what happened with that mold, but he says, there's something wrong with it. And so he fixed the issue. Just no questions asked after that. So, but that's Enforcer molds. And probably, here's an idea of just how much I like his molds. I have as many of his molds as I do everybody else combined. All right. I have, now in all fairness, some of them you can't get again, like this one. You can't get that one again. So, or this one here. These tube molds. Can't get those anymore. It's not making them. I understand the frustration with customers sometimes, but this brush hog, his frogs. I have a small frog, an 1 3/4 inch, and then a 3.5 inch frog. I have a 6 inch Eradicator lizard, 2.5 inch jerk bait. They're just all the molds are fantastic. I will keep buying molds from him because he does a good job on his molds. There's probably not much I would do different in the way of molds. I'm buying molds like this. I bought one. This is the 3 inch, Helgramite. I bought one to see how well it sells. Okay, if it sells well enough, I save money, prioritize, save money, and get another one so I can shoot a whole bag. I have enough 4 and 5 inch twig molds to shoot a whole bag of those. I'll get the 6 inch next because I sell a few of those. But baits that I don't sell a lot of, it's not such a big deal to not be able to shoot a whole bag at a time. And doing it this way, since I did want to sell baits, it allowed me to create a larger lineup of baits than I could have if I was buying like 2 of these right off the bat. I think this was $150. I think $140 or $150 for that 7 inch ribbon tip. Instead, I was able to take that extra money and buy. I bought from Angling AI. I bought their 5 inch core shot stick bait, which is kind of funny. I don't really sell any. I should say I don't really sell any. I haven't sold a single stick bait or the single core shot bait at all. It doesn't matter which one of the 3. I have not sold a single core shot. So I'm probably won't be doing that again in the future. Buying more cavities for those molds. But I think I pretty much covered it. About everything that I use. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. Just double checking. I don't want to leave anything out. Okay. All right. So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share. Also, just like our moms told us to, and because it helps the channel out. Right now, that's the best way to do that, I think, to help us out, to help us build the subscriber base so we can go ahead and monetize. And until next time, folks, tight lines and calm waters.